are Secretary of HHS, and I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
RFK Jr. had a tough day on the job today as he was being nominated for HHS Secretary, and they're going through the nominations where they ask questions, blah, 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 stuff like that. And, of course, Elizabeth Warren is loud and proud, as she always is, and you'll see this coming up.
Kennedy, I want to start with something that I think you and I agree on, and that is that Big Pharma has too much power in Washington. You've said that President Trump asked you to, quote, clean up corruption and conflicts. Sounds great. You've said that you will, quote, slam shut the revolving door between government agencies and the companies they regulate.
I actually agree with Senator Warren here. Clearly, drug companies have a large say in what we do here in the U.S. via their lobbying spending that they do to our politicians. I think it's about time that we get someone in, hopefully RFK Jr., and be able to actually start changing some of these things, because clearly America is not healthy as we speak.
That also sounds great. So here's an easy question. Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not going to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Who? Me?
Yes, you.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this question.
I don't think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
RFK is definitely correct on this. He has been very vocal about his dissatisfaction with large pharma or big pharma, and hopefully he actually can do something about it so then we can stop the any lies that have happened or any future lies to come.
Let's keep going. You're right, because to say yes, because every American has the right to know that every decision you make as our number one health officer is to help them and not to make money for yourself in the future. So I want to talk more about money. I'm looking at your paperwork right now. In the past 2 years, you've raked in $2.5 million from a law firm called Wisner Bond.
I think we can all agree that law firm has a funny name. I mean, really, that's the best you could come up with?
You go online, you do commercials to encourage people to sign up with Wisner Bomb to join lawsuits against vaccine makers. And for everyone who signs up, you personally get paid. And if they win their case, you get 10% of what they win. So if you bring in somebody who gets $10 million, you walk away with $1 million. Now, you just said that you want the American people to know you can't be bought. Your decisions won't depend on how much money you could make in the future. You won't go to work for a drug company after you leave HHS. But you and I both know there's another way to make money. So, Mr. Kennedy, will you also agree that you won't take any
If you made it this far, please don't forget to subscribe, and back to the video.
compensation from any lawsuits against drug companies while you are secretary and for 4 years afterwards?
Well, I'll certainly commit to that while I'm secretary. But I do want to clarify something because you're making me sound like a shill. I put together that case. I did the Science Day presentation to the judge on that case to get it into court, the Daubert hearing.
Mr. Kennedy, it's just a really simple question.
Yeah,
You've taken in $2.5 million. I want to know if you will commit right now that not only will you not go to work for drug companies, you won't go to work suing the drug companies and taking your rake out of that while you're a secretary and for 4 years after. It's just...
I'm a little confused on what Senator Warren is trying to get to here. Clearly, she doesn't want him taking money during his time at HHS or apparently after for 4 years. But I don't think, one, a lot of drug companies are going to just hand him money. Two, The drug companies, yes, he's related, or he has an interest in this law firm, but that's a law firm that sues the drug companies, and then he gets a percentage of the lawsuit from there. So if they're suing the drug companies and then winning, and he's getting a payout, doesn't that still mean the drug companies did something wrong?
I'll commit to not taking any fees from drug companies while I'm secretary.
I'm asking about fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not to do that?
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm
you
not
can
going to agree
sue
to that,
drug
Senator.
companies as much as you want.
I'm not going to agree to not sue drug companies or anybody.
So let's do a quick count here of how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence every one of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list. You could publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint people to the CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule. You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs.
Is this when we have to say object? Because she is not, number one, asking a question at all. She's just rattling on about what she considers to be conspiracies. And yes, I will agree. RFK Jr. may have said things in the past that I don't even agree with, but he's been very clear moving forward that, hey, it's going to be everybody's choice. You will not be forced to do something. And that is how it should be. This is America. This is freedom. You should not be forced into doing something you do not want to do.
Which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation even if there is no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could turn over FDA data to your friends at the law firm, and they could use it however it benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program.
You could change how the stars and moon align. You could change the color of the sky. You could change the ocean to be dry. What else can Robert F. Kennedy do?
There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS. And I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as Secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
No. Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule. I will do that. The only thing I want is good science, and that's it.
How about then say you won't make money off what you do as Secretary of HHS?
Before we go to Senator